There is a woman who was never handed an easy path. She was shaped by storms, by heartbreak, by doors slammed in her face. She knows what it feels like to be told she isn't enough, to be left behind, to be doubted at every turn. But she did not let the pain break her. She let it build her. Rejection tried to silence her, but she turned it into her voice. Every no she heard became a reason to fight harder. Every failure was not a dead end, but a redirection. She did not let setbacks define her. She used them to fuel her fire. Where others saw defeat, she saw opportunity. Where others quit, she persevered. She knows pain intimately, but she no longer fears it. She has walked through fire and emerged stronger. The world tried to bury her, but it did not know she was a seed. She took every broken piece and built a foundation so strong that nothing could shake her. Doubt surrounded her. People whispered that she would never make it, but she refused to listen. She chose to believe in herself even when no one else did. She kept going when the odds were stacked against her. She kept rising when life tried to knock her down. She is not just a survivor. She is a warrior. She turned her pain into power, her rejection into redirection, her failure into a masterpiece of success. The road was never easy, but she never asked for easy. She only asked for the strength to keep going, and that strength she found within herself. Now, when she looks in the mirror, she does not see a woman who has suffered. She sees a woman who has conquered. She sees resilience. She sees courage. She sees someone who refused to stay down, who turned her wounds into wisdom, and who now stands as living proof that no amount of pain, rejection, or failure can stop a woman who is determined to rise. And so to every woman facing struggles, heartbreak, or failure, this is your moment. This is where your story begins, not where it ends. Stand tall, keep moving. Your pain is shaping you. Your rejection is pushing you forward. Your failures are building your success, because a great woman is not made from ease and comfort. She is made from fire, and that fire will never be extinguished. She was not born into greatness. She was forged in the fires of struggle. Every scar she carries tells a story, not of defeat, but of battles fought and won. While the world praises ease and comfort, she knows that true strength is not built in soft places. It is built in the moments when she was on the edge of breaking, but chose to stand tall instead. Pain did not come as a curse. It came as a teacher. It stripped away illusions, tested her patience, and demanded growth. When she felt like giving up, it whispered, "Not yet." It pushed her beyond limits she never thought she could cross. While others watched from a distance, she was in the depths of struggle, learning what it meant to survive, to endure, and to rise. She knows that pain does not ask for permission. It arrives unannounced, often at the worst moments. It does not care if she is ready. It forces her to be. There were nights when the weight of it felt unbearable, when tears soaked her pillow and hope seemed like a distant memory. But those nights were not signs of weakness. They were shaping something deeper within her, something unshakable. She has walked through storms that tried to break her, only to emerge stronger. While others see pain as an obstacle, she sees it as a foundation. It built her resilience, her courage, and her ability to stand tall even when everything around her was crumbling. The woman she is today was not created in moments of ease, but in the fire of struggle that refused to consume her. Rejection was never a stranger to her. It met her at every turn, in closed doors, in unanswered calls, in people who told her she wasn't good enough. It tried to convince her that she didn't belong, that she was chasing something beyond her reach. At first, it stung. It made her question her worth, her abilities, and whether she should even continue. But she soon realized something powerful. Rejection wasn't meant to break her. It was meant to build her. Each no became fuel. Each time someone underestimated her, it added to the fire inside her. Rejection forced her to work harder, to sharpen her skills, to become undeniable. Instead of shrinking, she expanded. Instead of quitting, she pushed forward with even more determination. What was meant to discourage her became the very thing that made her unstoppable. She stopped seeing rejection as a sign that she wasn't enough. Instead, she saw it as proof that she was meant for something greater. The doors that closed weren't rejections, they were redirections. They guided her away from places she didn't belong and toward the destiny she was meant to claim. People told her she couldn't, so she did. They doubted her, so she proved them wrong. Rejection became her greatest teacher, showing her that success doesn't come to those who wait for approval. It comes to those who refuse to give up. Failure was never the end of her story. It met her early, often, and without mercy. It knocked her down more times than she could count, leaving her breathless, humiliated, and questioning if she had the strength to keep going. But each time she fell, she discovered something powerful. Failure was not her enemy. It was her greatest teacher. She learned that failure does not mean she wasn't capable. It meant she was learning. It was the price of growth, the proof that she was daring to chase something bigger than herself. Every misstep, every setback, every moment of defeat was a lesson disguised as loss. While others saw failure as the end, she chose to see it as the beginning of something greater. At times, the weight of disappointment was crushing. She had invested time, energy, and heart into things that didn't work out. But instead of running from failure, she faced it. She dissected it, studied it, and allowed it to refine her. She didn't just fail, she failed forward. With every mistake, she adjusted, evolved, and came back stronger. She realized that failure wasn't a sign to stop. It was an invitation to rise. Some of the greatest things she ever accomplished came right after she thought she had lost everything. The world tried to convince her that failure was shameful, but she knew the truth. It was necessary, because no great woman has ever succeeded without first learning how to rise from failure. Adversity was not a choice she made. It was a path she was thrown onto. Life did not ask if she was ready. It simply tested her. Over and over again. She faced challenges that should have broken her, moments so heavy they threatened to crush the very core of who she was. But even in her weakest moments, she discovered something unshakable within herself. She was not fragile. She was not helpless. She was built to endure. She did not ask for the pain, but she refused to let it define her. Every hardship she faced became a stepping stone, a lesson in resilience. There were days when the weight of her struggles felt impossible to carry, when every step forward seemed to come with a new setback. But she kept moving. She wiped her tears, straightened her back, and walked through storms that others would have run from. Strength was not something she was born with. It was something she built, piece by piece, through every trial she survived. She learned to stand tall even when everything around her was falling apart. She discovered that real power doesn't come from avoiding struggle. It comes from embracing it, from using it to become someone stronger than she ever imagined. The world tried to test her limits, but what it didn't know was that she had none. She had been through too much to be easily shaken. Every battle she fought made her more resilient. Every wound turned into wisdom. She was no longer afraid of adversity. She had become stronger because of it. Doubt surrounded her from the beginning. It was in the voices of those who questioned her abilities, in the skepticism of those who couldn't see her vision, and at times in the quiet whispers of her own mind. The world had a way of making her feel small, as if she was asking for too much by daring to believe in herself. But she refused to let doubt dictate her future. She knew that if she waited for approval, she would never move. If she needed validation, she would never grow. So she stopped looking for permission and started trusting herself. Even when her hands trembled, even when fear crept in, she moved forward anyway. She knew she wasn't the strongest, the smartest, or the most experienced, but she was the one who refused to quit. There were moments when she questioned if she had what it took. She faced failures that made her wonder if she was chasing something that wasn't meant for her. But then she remembered every time she had overcome something she once thought was impossible. She reminded herself that doubt was just noise, and that her belief in herself had to be louder. She no longer needed anyone to believe in her dream as long as she did. Doubt could exist, but it would not control her. Fear could whisper, but it would not stop her. She had learned that confidence wasn't the absence of doubt. It was the decision to keep going despite it. And that decision changed everything. She had been broken before. Life had taken its toll, leaving scars that ran deeper than anyone could see. There were moments when she felt shattered beyond repair, as if the weight of her past was too heavy to carry. She had known heartbreak, betrayal, and loss. She had felt the sting of disappointment and the ache of dreams that never came true. But what the world didn't realize was that every piece of her that had once been broken was now part of the foundation that made her unbreakable. Pain tried to weaken her, but instead, it hardened her resolve. She had every reason to give up, but she didn't. She took the shattered pieces of her past and rebuilt herself, stronger than before. What once wounded her no longer controlled her. She didn't erase the pain, she transformed it. Every scar became a symbol of survival. Every hardship a reminder of just how much she had overcome. There were times when she thought she would never recover. The weight of the world pressed down on her, and she wondered if she would ever feel whole again. But she did more than recover. She rose. She used her pain as fuel, her struggles as lessons, and her past as proof that she was capable of enduring anything. She is no longer afraid of being broken because she knows she cannot be destroyed. She has been through too much to be fragile, and she has faced too many battles to back down now. The woman she has become is not the same as the one who once doubted herself. She is stronger, wiser, and unshakable. What once hurt her only made her more powerful, and nothing can take that away from her. Pain was never just suffering to her. It was a revelation. It stripped away everything that wasn't real, everything that didn't serve her, and forced her to face the truth about herself. In her darkest moments, when she felt like she had lost everything, she discovered something she had never noticed before: her purpose. She realized that the struggles she endured were not random. They were shaping her for something greater. The pain she once resented became the very thing that guided her toward what she was meant to do. Every hardship had a lesson, every setback had a reason, and every tear carried a message. She began to see that her wounds weren't just for her, they were meant to help others. The things that once broke her heart gave her the strength to uplift those who were still struggling. The moments that nearly crushed her gave her wisdom that others desperately needed. She stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and started asking, "What is this teaching me?" And when she found the answer, she found her calling. Her purpose wasn't built in comfort. It was carved out of her pain. It was in the night she thought she wouldn't make it, in the losses that forced her to grow, in the moments that tested everything she believed. And because of that, she doesn't just live, she leads. She doesn't just survive, she inspires. What once felt like suffering became the very thing that gave her life meaning. She had every reason to quit. Every setback, every failure, every moment of doubt told her to walk away, but she refused. She had fallen before, but every time she found a way to rise, giving up was never an option, because deep inside she knew she was not meant to stay down. Life knocked her off course more times than she could count. Just when she thought she was making progress, another obstacle appeared. Just when she started to believe, another door slammed shut. But she learned that setbacks were not punishments. They were preparation. Every delay, every detour, every failure was teaching her resilience. She wasn't losing. She was being molded into something stronger. She stopped seeing challenges as roadblocks and started seeing them as stepping stones. Every time she was told no, she worked harder. Every time she fell, she got back up faster. She understood that success wasn't about never failing. It was about refusing to stay down. The greatest comebacks are made by those who refuse to accept defeat. She didn't wait for an easy path or a perfect moment. She took every setback and turned it into fuel. She turned her lowest points into the foundation for her greatest victories. And when she finally stood at the top, she knew it was not in spite of her struggles that she made it. It was because of them. She never set out to inspire anyone. In the beginning, she was just trying to survive. She was just trying to make sense of her struggles, to push through the pain, to keep going when everything inside her screamed to stop. But as she fought her battle, something incredible happened. Others began to notice. People saw her strength, not because she never struggled, but because she never let her struggles defeat her. They watched her rise after every fall, rebuild after every loss, and keep moving forward even when the weight of the world was on her shoulders. She became a living example of what resilience looks like. Without realizing it, she was giving others hope. Her story became more than just her own. It became a light for those who were walking through their own darkness. She understood their pain because she had felt it too. She knew what it was like to doubt yourself, to feel like you'll never make it, to wonder if you're strong enough. And because she had been there, she could show them the way out. She didn't need to be perfect to inspire others. She just needed to be real. She didn't have to have all the answers. She just had to prove that no matter how many times life knocked her down, she would always get back up. And because of that, her story became a testament to every woman who ever thought she wasn't strong enough. It became proof that no matter how hard life gets, there is always a way forward. She is not just a woman who has survived. She is a woman who has risen. Every scar, every rejection, every failure did not break her. They built her. She turned her pain into power, her struggles into strength, and her setbacks into a story of triumph. She is living proof that greatness is not born from comfort, but from the fire of adversity. That no rejection, no failure, no moment of doubt has the power to define her unless she allows it. She has faced everything meant to destroy her, and yet she stands stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. And to every woman who has ever felt broken, who has ever been told she wasn't enough, who has ever wondered if she could rise again, know this: you were never meant to stay down. You were meant to rise. You are meant to take every hardship and use it as fuel to become something greater, because a great woman is not made from ease. She is made from resilience. She is made from every battle she refused to lose. She is made from fire, and that fire will never burn out.